Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of MS Gamers Hut. And I'm your host, Ted Michael. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas this year. Did any of you get a chance to check out the games I previewed for you? This year has seen a lot of changes for me, like starting this radio show. And soon, I will be starting a new aggressive MS treatment. I have also met a lot of interesting and wonderful people along the way. I really don't believe in making New Year's resolutions, but if I had to make one, it would be to continue to fight for a cure for MS. Now, let's preview some upcoming mobile games for 2018. The first one I'm going to preview is Tekken. That's right, Bandai Namco has just announced that they'll be releasing an all-new Tekken game for Android and iPhone in the sometime soon. You can pre-register for the title today on their Tekken mobile website. While I'm sure plenty of you 90s fighting game fans will be overjoyed with this announcement, the question remains, how will Bandai Namco monetize this mobile version of their popular franchise? Will there be a premium release, or will it be more of the same free-to-play content we have all come to expect? Well, if the iPhone Canadian's soft launch of the title is anything to go by, then it should be pretty safe to claim that the Android version is indeed going to be a free-to-play release filled to the brim with in-app purchases. Considering that there are over 100 heroes to collect, where you have to upgrade and unlock over 20 unique special moves for each, yeah, I can totally see how Bandai Namco expects to be making their money. The good news is that Tekken Mobile looks to contain a lot of content for the players to explore. You can expect story model missions where you battle through a map-based campaign featuring unique encounters and specialized bosses. There are also online versus battles in a dojo challenge mode where you can build teams of attackers and defenders to compete in monthly seasons for unique rewards. And last but not least, there will be a bunch of rotating live events challenges that features daily, weekly, and monthly rotating content. Oh, and as I mentioned above, I mentioned before, the Fold, if you'll like to pre-register for this title, you can do so on Bandai Namco's Tekken mobile website. By pre-registering early, you'll earn a chance to receive exclusive rewards such as extra in-game currency or unlocked randomly characters. The more people who pre-register, the more rewards you'll receive upon Tekken's mobile's global launch. While it may not be a surprise to Tekken to see Tekken getting the free-to-play treatment on Android, there's still a chance that Bandai Namco has a fun fighting game on their hands. I mean, sure, most competitive games on mobile that have in-app purchases for anything other than cosmetic tends to be pretty pay to win. But maybe Bandai Namco has balanced the monetization in a way that does not affect the overall gameplay. I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. The next game I'm going to preview is called RuneScape. RuneScape has been announced for the MMO. It has been announced that MMO RuneScape will actually be coming to a mobile device near you. It has been confirmed that this will be an actual mobile client to the current RuneScape MMO, and not just a mobile game that is based on the company's IP. The announcement says the user interface will be optimized for mobile devices, but they'll have to wait to see if they are able to pull this off. Old school RuneScape is said to be available for mobile this winter, with RuneScape following behind in 2018. This is huge for the company, and something that falls in line with all the additional work they've done to keep up with the times. It is incredibly hard for a game to stay this relevant after 16 years, especially when it's a MMO that has to deal with so much competition. Many have thought that MMOs were a dying breed, but there's continued to be a lot of activity within the space. RuneScape and old school RuneScape come to mobile is a sure way to ensure the nostalgia-inducing MMO can keep up with the times and also reach new mobile-only audiences. Naturally, you'll have to see how well the game performs on a mobile device, how the mobile optimization user interface turns out, and if it's enjoyable to play the game on such a small screen. With screens on smartphones these days still getting bigger and bigger, it could end up working out well for developer Jagex. The announcement has been confirmed. The company will be supporting cross-platform play between both the mobile client and the desktop PC one. Among the devices listed when signing up for the beta, you'll find common Android flagships such as Android's Galaxy phones, the Pixel XL, and even OnePlus 5. For those interested, you can check out the dedicated landing page for the announcement, and you'll also will be able to register for your interest for the mobile client too. Registering interest will let you get information about the game as soon as it becomes available, and will even allow you to be considered for the company's closed beta access. The next game I'm going to preview is called Marvel Strike Force. 21st Century Fox's Fox Next Games and Marvel Entertainment has doled out new images, gameplay video, and some details for Marvel Strike Force, a new squad-based role-playing mobile game set in the Marvel Universe. Set to debut in 2018, Marvel Strike Force players recruit 5 members teams of Marvel's superheroes and supervillains to battle in what the game's developer promises will offer an unprecedented level of interaction between characters. Players will join forces with S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury as they assemble their fighting squads. Picked among characters include Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Spider-Man, Venom, Star-Lord, Gamora, Daredevil, Groot, the Hulk, Thor, Doctor Strange. In the multiplayer game, players create alliances and collect new gear and upgrades to make their team stronger, with the goal to defeat their foes in strategic combat. We talk about the game in terms of fantasy sports, said Aaron Loeb, Fox Next Games president of studios. We're enabling the player to have their fantasy draft of characters from the multiverse, from the Marvel Universe. Marvel Strike Force, the first game to be published by Fox Next Games, has been in development for about 2 years to date. The mobile app has involved approximately 200,000 person hours of development. The core game engine for the client side is a modified version of Unity Technologies' 3D rendering engine with a proprietary server-side engine from Kabam. There's a real, living, breathing feeling. You have a visual feast, Loeb added. You get a sense of what it's like when Spider-Man is on the battlefield with Thor. The free-to-play game, with an in-app purchase option, is being developed by Fox Next Games' LA-based Aftershock studio, which Fox acquired earlier this year following Aftershock's spin-off with Kabam. That's the same studio that is creating a multiplayer mobile strategy game for James Cameron's Avatar franchise in partnership with Lightstorm Entertainment and 20th Century Fox. Another Marvel mobile game, including Marvel Contest of Champions from Kabam and Marvel's Adventures Academy from Jam City Tiny Company. Separately, Marvel's Entertainment in January announced a multi-year pact with Square Enix for a series of video game titles, starting with a new Avengers game. Pre-register for Marvel Strike Force is now open for Android and iPhone devices at marvelstrikeforce.com. The next game I'm going to preview is Attack on Titan Assault. If you are already familiar with the manga and anime Attack on Titan, you're missing out on what is a very unique story in a very unique universe. If anime isn't your thing, you'll have the opportunity to explore the world of Attack on Titan on your mobile's Sense Game Samba, Funimation, and In-Games have announced today that they plan on bringing an Attack on Titan game to Android and iPhone by the end of 2018. Before going into detail about the game, first, a few words about the franchise. Attack on Titan takes place in a universe where humans are hiding behind huge walls in an attempt to protect themselves from the Titans. Great humanoid figures that enjoy eating humans in pretty gross ways and often look a bit like humans from the Bodyworks exposition. Humans have a military force that tries to defeat the Titans' attacks, but by using a kind of grappling mechanism, so the battles are quite spectacular. Attack on Titan has sold over 50 million copies of the manga in print, has a 25-episode anime series and has live action films too. The Attack on Titan game will be an action-driven title according to the announcement and will combine elements for runners and action play game in an attempt to replicate the feeling of the Titan battles. Players will need to plan carefully as well as have quick reactions to survive, and the game will have deeper and persistent elements that will be revealed in a later date. Hopefully, the game won't just be a money grab, but rather an attempt to replicate those amazing battles on mobile. If they manage to get the art style right, the game should look quite impressive because those Titans look really, really good. The next game that I'm going to preview is the X-Files Deep State. With the cult classic sci-fi drama, the X-Files being resurrected last year, it's not surprising that the series would be expanding into different promotional avenues and spin-offs, including video games. And with the premise of the show being FBI Special Agents Mulder and Scully traveling the world to investigate and hopefully solve various mysteries, it would make sense that the video game based on the show would focus on the same thing. It makes so much sense that that's exactly what Creative Mobile will be bringing with their upcoming mobile game, The X-Files Deep State. It's an adventure game that has you playing an FBI special agent investigating those cases, which are just too darn weird for... It's an adventure game that has you playing special agent investigating those cases which are too darn weird for regular agents alongside your partner, Agent Dale. While it's kind of disappointing not being able to play as the main character of the show, Scully and Mulder, if you just enjoy the storylines and mystery behind the cases in the X-File TV shows, then Deep State should still be a pretty enjoyable way to expand the universe a bit. While no release date is specified, the X-Files Deep State is slated for release across iPhones, Android, and Facebook sometime in 2018. In fact, it looks to already be available on the Google Play Store, so feel free to give it a look if you're on Android, and let us know what you okay, the next game that I'm going to review is Harry Potter's Wizards Unite. Harry Potter's Wizards Unite launch date is to be announced. Will use state-of-the-art augmented reality technology, which is the same technology used in Pokemon Go games. So players can view the real world through a Wizarding World lens. The game encourages you to step outside with your phone, explore your local surrounding, and keep parts of in a series of adventures such as searching for magical creatures and bumping into iconic Wizarding World characters along the way. Cricketing, who knows who you'll spot in your local park. You'll also be able to cast spells, discover mysterious artifacts, and build up your own illustrious wizarding career. Yet, we can definitely get on board with this. Harry Potter's Wizards Unite comes from the combined mind of Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment and Neonic Incorporated, a company that builds real-world experience for mobile games. David Hadhead, president of Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, is excited about fusing the real world with the magical. With this game, we are allowing the passionate worldwide fan base to explore J.K. Rowling's deeply powerful and imaginative universe in a new, truly immersive way. It is wonderful to have Niantic's remarkable augmented reality experience as we develop this incredibly rich wizarding world for players to explore in their everyday lives. Exploring the wizarding world inside the real world stuff. Suffice to say, we are looking forward to this, and remember, this will only be one of many new games to come. The next game I'm going to preview is called Hyper Sentinel. There's little doubting that the game is a throwback to a bygone era, lovingly created pixel graphics with fantastic animations. Audio that will swear came straight from an arcade machine or the NES. Of course, the visuals and audio are polished to modern standards, but there's an attention to detail that adds an air of authenticity to the game. Even better is that the game uses modern hardware to its best and hits a minimum of 60 frames per second on all devices. Developed by Jonathan Port, the single-man team that makes up 456 Pixel and published by Huey Games. There's more than the game that acts as a link to the past. Huey Games is a publisher led by Rob Hewson, his father Andrew Hewson, and John Gagden. Andrew Hewson can be known as the founder of Hewson Consultants, publisher of titles like Avalon, Stormlord, and Onslaught, which was re-released for the iPhone and the Xbox 360 2 decades later. But what of the gameplay? This is where Hyper Sentinel really caught my interest. Most shoot 'em ups have you on a single plane going forward until you hit the boss. Here it's different. There are 12 levels, each in arena based on a ship you have to destroy. Each level progresses in the same sort of way. You destroy the ground targets, and once they are destroyed, you fight the boss. Also, you're constantly getting harassed by enemy fighters. So far, so familiar. It's how the gameplay that really stands out. Each level gets progressively harder as you go forward, and each bringing in their own unique bosses. Indeed, in later levels, some regular enemies are very familiar to earlier bosses. Hyper Sentinel also takes advantage of The arena-based levels lets you move from side to side and make the most of the map. Working with this are a range of unique weapons and abilities that you can use throughout. Possibly my favorite weapon was the twin laser beams. They shredded through the enemy and played well to my usual tactics and blindingly rushing, constantly firing and hoping for the best. Other pickups and granted abilities, like a few maces that threw away around the ship, smash parts of the enemy's shields, and of course boost to your score multiplier. Your ship also has regular abilities that don't come from collectibles. Taking from modern games is auto healing that kicks in after long enough without taking damage. In addition to this, your boosts, which dramatically increase your speed, lets you catch up to some of these pesky pickups that race away from you. It's in moving that one of the more interesting features of Hyper Sentinel come on in dodging. When you flip to change direction, which looks great, they're made temporarily invulnerable. This is incredibly useful when low on energy and looking to auto regenerate. Of course, some of these aren't available throughout the game. In the 12 stages campaign, you're pretty fine to make use of everything. However, in Horde mode, which simply throws in increasingly number of enemies your way, it's no auto healing. There's no auto healing. Your only way to recover is through pickups, and you simply have to survive as long as you can. Boss run is the other mode, which is fairly self-explanatory. You simply go through the levels facing boss after boss. I enjoyed my time playing Hypersensitive, and playing a demo of it on my smartphone was incredibly easy to do. Indeed, in the time I was playing it, I got through about 4 of the 12 levels before having to go on Horde mode. This was the most fun I had, literally managing to last at least 2 minutes longer than I should, as I got shield after shield picked up, which managed to keep me alive with the next to no health. In the age of pick up and play games, Hyper Sentinel stands out as one of the better I've had the chance of playing. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of MS Gamers Hut. As usual, I'd like to thank MS&Me Radio for giving me the opportunity to sharing my passion for games, and to my listeners, because without you, there would be no MS Gamers Hut. Next week, I will be reviewing some of the best games of 2017. I'm wishing everybody a happy new year, goodbye, and keep gaming.